Benzinga's NFT show. We've got a great one for you today. We will be joined by Toy Boogers once again to talk about their upcoming mint that is a collaboration project with several NFT collections that you have definitely heard of before. So excited about that. We did some giveaways over the past couple of weeks. We gave away $1,000 in Ethereum. We also gave away a Star Wolf, and we will be talking to that team real soon. Guys, stick with the roadmap, your home for NFT news and exclusive interviews. Don't go anywhere. We've got a good episode coming up. This is the roadmap. All right, everyone. As I said, this is the roadmap, Benzinga's NFT show. I'm seeing you all roll in there live on YouTube right now. We're also available as a podcast, so you can listen in anytime that you desire. And you can also watch this video interview after it airs live on YouTube, Benzinga's channel. Make sure you go ahead and smash that like and subscribe to Benzinga's YouTube channel if you have not done so already. Before we get started with today's episode, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor. Today's show is sponsored by FTX US, one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world in terms of trading volume and daily users. The FTX app is used by over 6 million people to buy crypto and NFTs with no transaction or withdrawal fees. You can use your phone or computer, and the FTX US trading platform offers NFT trading on both the Ethereum and Solana blockchains with no gas fees. To find out more about FTX, you can click on the link in the description below and also pinned to the chat. So if you are new to FTX, go ahead and check out that app. Do your own research. Tell them Benzinga sent you, and maybe you can find some new Ethereum and Solana NFTs. Without further ado, I think it's time to bring on my co-host, Benzinga's own Brian Moir. Brian, what's going on, buddy?
Not too much. Actually a little too dark in here. I'm kind of everywhere right now. I had a bunch of little malfunction there going on, but we're good to go now. I'm very excited for this interview.
I'm so excited. I mean, Brian, we did an episode last week talking about I think it was 5 projects to watch in April. And I mean, I think anyone in the NFT space knows there's more than 5 projects that happen in a month, right? There are hundreds, but we narrowed it down to 5. And one of those 5 that we mentioned was Kitbash Boogers, who we are going to talk to today. So we will welcome back Doug from Toy Boogers. And this one is so exciting because it actually combines 4 top projects. So you will have traits from Toy Boogers, Cool Cats, Dead Fellas, and Robotos. 4 different collections. A very interesting concept. And we're going to talk to Doug all about collaborations. That's something that's been big in the NFT space. But I mean, Brian, Cool Cats, Dead Fellas, Toy Boogers, Robotos, 4 great collections all being tied together. I mean, this is pretty epic, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be the one to watch for sure. Like, even if you don't get into it, just follow along, be in the community. Like, this is going to be a fun one. I mean, there's the best is right here. I mean, you get what? CryptoPunks and Bored Ape Yacht Club, and that's about it. That's the top. You're right there.
That's it. All right. And I'm loving this comment in the chat, Brian, that says Brian looks like he just slammed a pot of coffee. So
pretty much.
Shout out to loyal fan Turd Ferguson in the chat saying that Brian's ready to go. That's the important thing, right?
I got a little stressed out. Everything kind of like crashed right whenever like 159 hit. Everything just crashed.
Of course. Like, oh, shit. All right. Well, without further ado, I think it's time to get into our interview. So as I said, Kitbash Boogers combining elements from 4 different collections. It will be a collection of 1,111 NFTs. That's a very low number, something else to keep in mind. Before we bring Doug on, I believe we have a trailer. So, as we often say, roll the trailer. All right. Always excited when we get these trailers done. I mean, Brian, that one's got me pumped, right? Super excited. And shout out to our video team for putting together that trailer and showing off that great artwork. So excited to get today's interview kicked off. And I see Ashira in the chat, of course, one of our favorites here at Benzinga. But I think it's time to go ahead and bring on Doug. So welcome back to the roadmap from Toy Boogers. Doug, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on again. I'm excited.
Of course, we're always excited to have people come back, especially the ones, that we enjoyed talking to the first time. But of course, you have some new updates, some new news to share, which is always a great reason to check back in with a project. So before we get into Kitbash Boogers, we may have some new viewers, some new listeners out there who aren't familiar with your original collection here, Toy Boogers. So Doug, if you wouldn't mind, just give us a little bit of background on Toy Boogers, the first collection that got things kicked off here.
Yeah, thanks for that, and a good place to start. So yeah, Toy Boogers is my original Genesis collection, 3,333 hand-drawn characters, hand-drawn, hand-mixed. So I drew the traits, individually: head, eyes, glasses, bodies, wings, toys. So unlike most kind of PFPs, there's this whole little character, and hand mix them. And what that means is this was, not generative art. I basically had one big screen of like all of the different bodies and heads it laid out, and literally mixed and matched them like Legos over the course of 6 months. It took me to make the 3,333 Toy Boogers. And yeah, so really neat, fun project. It's goofy, it's wacky, it's cute. Some are really cute, some are really wacky. Most are pretty wacky, actually. But then some have like a little bit of a gnarly feel where there's like some monsters and stuff. But yeah, just a real fun, collection, nostalgic stuff. A lot of, skateboards and toys, and there's a floppy disk
and tacos.
Yeah, all the good stuff that we love. And the little shout outs to the NFT scene. Like there's one holding a gas, which kind of represents like Ethereum gas transactions, but it looks funny because it's a gas can. And lots of animals and monsters and traits that are little tributes to other projects. Being a collector myself, the whole time I was making this, I was all those cool projects were coming out last year, and every time something came out, it's like, oh, now I got to put like an alien head, or I got to put this head, or I got to put that, or so lots of little tributes. Nothing in the form of like an actual trait from another collection. Totally my style, but you'll see a lot of little tributes. So yeah, that was my Genesis 3,333 pieces. Took me a long time to make, about 6 months, and that whole time, being a collector and being an active member in many communities, many people knew me and were kind of waiting, and it was one of these really slow growth launch projects, which was also fun and unique and different because last year was a time where just stuff was just coming out of nowhere constantly, and this one was a slow build up, and then finally when we released it, it sold out on the public sale day. Went nuts. Everybody was tweeting it, and the following day, if people remember, we had our celebration with Keith Grossman from Time magazine reached out right away, and then that's when the discussion started happening with Time as well, which as people know, we signed a deal to do an animated series with them also. So Toy Boogers is turned it into an animated series, and that was pretty much where we left off at when our last interview together.
Yeah, great points there, Doug. We love hearing that background story. I love the fact that you guys have the deal with time. My kids have actually gotten more into NFTs recently. They love looking at artwork, seeing these different projects, and that's one of the things they ask me now is there an animated show coming? Because of course I've told them, that Toy Boogers, Robotos, and some of these other collections are working on animated shows, and they are super pumped for some of these shows to happen. I know we'll get into that a little bit later on. Let's start with Kitbash Boogers here. So, how did this idea come to be, Doug? Is this something that you had in the works in the back of your mind all along? Or was it kind of due to the success of Toy Boogers and kind of a next stepping stone here?
Yeah, actually, a little bit of both. So I always liked the idea of collaboration, and what I had seen, as a collector right before I released my collection is, multiple projects doing things together. Ghost and Cool Cats was one of the first that was just like, oh my God, that's so cool. It's, Cool Cats and Ghost style. And then, that just kept happening multiple times where these artists would get together and either do a one of one or a limited edition, blending styles or tribute kind of styles. And so I knew for sure, like, the collaborations are, just a kind of a cornerstone to NFT art and community, and just collaborating with other, not only just the artists but the projects and the communities. And so I knew I wanted to do that, but I didn't know like how it was going to take place. And Klon called me right after, I think it was probably within the first week. He minted and tweeted it out, and he got some really cool ones. And so he was a fan from the start. And Pablo, like all the Betty, they were all tweeting their stuff. So it was a really fun time during the drop, and to see what they got, and to have other artists as fans right away was just, gosh, this is so cool, a dream come true, really. But then, yeah, Klon called me, and that was like, it's like that was like one of the biggest celebrations. Like, oh my God, I'm like be talking to Klon, like this is so awesome. And so we were sitting there chatting for like an hour, and just kind of just talking about stuff. He's giving me advice to tell me about things, and just backstory, and just chatting, just like having a good hangout session. And then I was like, hey, let's do a collab. Like, of course I wanted to take that opportunity to like, let's line something up, let's do something. And I was like, let's do something where maybe I do like a Toy Boogers and Cool Cat style, or you do one in mine, and then let's do an edition. And he's like, you know what, we could do something better. So it was totally Klon's idea. He's like, why don't you he was like, why don't you take our traits and redraw them in your style and mix and match them? Because I had been doing that like a little bit as little teasers. He's like, but let's do this formally. Let's get a few projects on board and have this big, hand mixed, collab collection. I was like, whoa, that's totally next level. I was like, all right, let's do it. And that was literally that brainstorm call was November last year. And we listed a handful of projects that we would like to work with. And, right off the bat, it was like Deadfellows and Robotos were the other two listed right away. And there was a few others, but logistically, even, organizing four is such a big endeavor. And then on me, the art, that's the hard work of what came next. So yeah, it was basically Klon's idea. We've been chatting back and forth for a while, and then I think it was January or Feb, like the whole time we were all committed and ready to go, but it really got kicked off in, I believe it was January, when I had just like about 100 samples to show them. It's like, all right, here's all the samples. And then they gave it some feedback, and we did some little bit of tweaking and editing. And then it was just like, all right, this is awesome. Let's go. Let's do this. And then so we announced it, and here we are.
Here we are. So you mentioned, that Klon called you. So Cool Cats first on board. You mentioned, Betty and Pablo both were fans of Toy Boogers from the start. So is that something you and Klon, both agreed on these other two teams, or, how did it come to be the four, and those four that were ultimately selected here?
Yeah. So he mentioned a handful that was like, all right, let's, it just like this group, this person, and then both of us together kind of reached out to a handful, and it was I'd love to. I mean, there's so many that we could could have and should have brought on, but just like logistically, it was kind of who had the time, who had the capacity, who was kind of ready to talk, who wasn't doing a million things, and all of us actually were, which is kind of the funny thing too. Is like, dead fellas had the dead friends, cool cats had cool pets, so and Robotos is doing so much stuff. It's amazing. So everybody, like in every other project, it's kind of hard to find someone who's ready to do anything because everybody's already overbooked. But it just kind of fell into place. But there was more groups that we had in mind, and I wish there's so many friends and good artists and people that are fans, and I'm a mutual fan, and we're colleagues in that regard, that we could have, but it just kind of fell into place, and the chat just started rolling. And at a certain point, now it makes sense. Like even 4 is hard. So technically, what I had to do on the kind of artistic and technical side is I had to go through each one of their collections, pick out the traits. So it's not all of the traits, but it is a lot. It's multiple, faces, the hats, the heads, the also like bodies. I made like new bodies inspired, like fur coat from Dead Fellas and certain things from the other collections. So it redrew everything in my style. So it, I had the same pen. So these are all handmade, hand drawn, just like my original toy boogers. And I had to, match them, size them, everything. So it took me a few months just to go through and really get the assets ready again. And that, if you recall from my original interview with Toy Boogers, that was the big, why did it take so long? Well, 6 months, half of that time was just building the assets, and then the other half was mixing and matching them. And so as much as I would love to have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 artists and projects involved, adding 3 to my current was pretty insane. So it's been so fun though. Taking their traits are so fun to work with. As you have that one pulled up right now, like just putting like the dead fellas, putting like cool cats like the angry face, angry scar or something like on a dead fella's head. It's just so awesome. Or putting the black glasses from Dead Fellas onto like a cool looking Toy Boogers, or just the squad glasses onto Betty's Dead Fella. It's just, or onto the rainbow unicorn poop head. It's just, oh my gosh, like they go so well together. So it's been a lot of fun for me, but it's been hard. It's like, it really is a hard work. These are, it's a collection. It's 1,111 pieces, but these are one of ones. I hand make every single one of them, and a lot of like thought goes into it. You can't just like drag and drop. I have to drag and drop, position, resize, bring it all in, bring a toy that matches, and kind of have a theme. And so lots of fun, lots of work, but yeah, super, super excited about it.
Awesome. So I have a quick question for you. Yeah. What does it mean to like be blessed with being able to pretty much be given the artwork that you were given from all these different creators and projects?
Oh man, I'm so honored and thankful and appreciative and just like thrilled. And that's part of it, just to be able to play with these assets. It's so fun. Yeah, it's the NFT scene is, many artists mention this, and collectors too, when you mint something and it's just like, oh my god, like it's really mind-boggling and almost it's unreal. There's so much unrealness to the NFT scene, and it's kind of like, it feels like a dream, but it also feels like it was like, again, meant to be. Like just like these traits and assets look so good together, and so having their trust and their confidence and their support means the world to me. And then also their guidance and feedback, because it wasn't just like me putting it all together. Like we did go back and forth a lot. It was like, all right, change this a little bit, do this. And multiple members had multiple different feedbacks. Syke came up with the name. I think I had something like, I had a few different names kind of going in, but then he was like, you know what you're doing? He's like, you're kit bashing. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Like for toys in the RC. He's like, yeah, like in the RC world and like the toy industry, like if you take like Legos from different boxes and mix them together, or RC cars or robotics, that they call that a kit bash. So it's, you take one, store-bought kit, and then you mix it with the others. So, taking G.I. Joe and Star Wars. take your arms off your Star Wars and put them on your G.I. Joe. So that's called a kit bash. And so he's like, yeah, it's basically kit bash boogers. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so true.
Boom, that's the name. Boom, right there.
Yep, that was the name. Yeah, so it's like got the name and just nailed
it. So one thing that we like to ask on the roadmap is, what are your favorite traits? We like to ask the creators or anyone with the project, what are your favorite traits? And we have these 12, and we've already picked it. We even had Alyssa, our producer, come on and pick it live with us. But we wanted to have you on here and see, like, what is your favorite? I think we'll do what, top 3?
Okay, top 3.
Yeah, Doug. Out of these 12, what are your favorite 3? If you
out of these 12, I'm sorry.
So I have big alpha to tell at the end. So this isn't the big alpha, but here's a little alpha. The stash hamster. So little stash hamster. His name is Stash. That little hamster in the robot. He takes over some of them, and so there'll be a legendary trait called controlled by Stash, and so it's like he's taken over, and so that's probably one of my favorites actually, where little hamster, and he does that in different ways. So we've only seen a few samples of how he does that, but
the little toaster hamster right there.
Yeah, there's a few different ways in which he'll take over the character, and so I think that's probably my favorite, and it's just fun. The other 2, the squad glasses from Klon, from the Cool Cats is just so fun. You put that on anything and it just looks cool. If I could lump the black glasses from Deadfellas in as well, like both of those, just the glasses just look so cool on pretty much anything. It's hard to kind of tack it down, but I think putting
it's true,
like an angry face on a cute character or a cute face on the zombie is just a lot of fun, because sometimes they, like, you wouldn't think it works, but it totally works. And it's like, just like if you look, like there's the squad glasses on Betty's dead fella head, it looks so good. Or when you do double angry, so you take like an angry cool cat and then you put it on like a zombie, it's just like it multiplies it. And so toy boogers,
epic Kitbash.
Yeah, the Kitbash just multiplies the effect. So I try to play with these themes of like cute, wacky, and kind of gnarly. And
I like that guy.
Yeah, that guy's really cool. Being able to put these traits together, I really feel like I get like a multiplication effect. Like, it just makes it so either so wacky or so cute or really gnarly. Like there's some pretty gnarly zombie stuff in here going on.
Yeah, I remember the hamster being a favorite of ours, and also, Doug, as I mentioned, I show my kids these NFT collections, and they of course all picked the hamster as their favorite. So I think that's got to be my hands down favorite here. The
There's
hamster.
Not one I don't like either.
Right, it's hard to pick.
It's
that's
like
a
they're
good
all,
thing, right?
And I mean that's a good segue into the next question too, since they're all one of one, and each one's going to be unique. Each one has like almost the best trait, like qualities from all these other projects. What makes one rarer than the other, or are we going to do kind of a subjective? This is yours. What did our last guest? He said, this is my penguin, I am my penguin. Penguin is me, kind of thing.
Yeah,
my Kitbash is me.
Yeah, that's
what makes them rare.
Good question. So there is the typical rarity scheme. We have everything from some heads being used up to 20 times or so, all the way down to a lot of one of one. So the head is kind of the way I organize my thought process, and also like just like technically and going through it, systemizing it, going through. Start with the head, and so the heads are really well numbered. The bodies also, and then some of the toys too. There's one of one toy. So if you do want like the rarest of the rare, like there is that whole scheme for sure. But with the original toy boogers, people picked what they liked, and even though it might not be the rarest, it was like, hey, that's the only alien with a ninja sword. I like aliens and I like ninja swords, so for me that's the one. And so people will totally be able to do that. Like even in this little collage right here of these 12, it's like you got a basketball one, you have a ninja one, you have a frog one, you have dreads with coffee, there's the rose one. So like you can pick these little themes, and sometimes like I think it's the diversity just allows you to grab something that really speaks to you. So we will definitely have the rarity system, but also like definitely you'll be able to grab something that's like, oh, that's me.
Yeah. Well, some of the teams that are in this project, and I mean, you guys already know them, so we're not going to go through them again, but they all did different contests. Did you have a favorite kind of contest that one of them did? Because I heard that each one was kind of unique and fun, and wanted to see what, like, maybe you had a favorite one out of them.
Yeah, thank you for asking that. So the project is entirely allow listed. and being so small, 1,111 pieces, there's about 250, 270 per project. And so how we distributed those was just left up to each project. And so with Toy Boogers, we're still doing raffles. So if you're a Toy Booger holder, we raffle off like 33 spots every Thursday. You just have to enter once in our Discord. So if you're a holder, there's spots constantly being raffled. We did an art contest, and we currently have a little take your a sample Kitbash and bring it in, to print out a picture of it and take it into the wild. So you can kind of we call it Kitbash in the wild. Cool Cats, they did a raffle and an art contest. Their art contest was awesome. They had so many cool stuff in there. And it, actually in your demo reel, that cool trailer, the one bouncing, that was from one of those art contests. Deadfellas and Robotos are about to do their, there's that bouncing.
Love it.
So Deadfellas and Robotos will have their allow list activities coming up soon, probably this week or next. And I don't know what they're doing yet. We're actually just talking about it. Every group was free to kind of do whatever they want, but I would imagine that they'll have a mix of raffle and maybe a game or an art contest. But yeah, the art contests are fun. There's just so much stuff that you can do and things you wouldn't think of. It's so cool. The animations people put together.
Love it. Well, Doug, I mean, we talk with this project a lot about collaboration, right? And there's another cool contest entry. We saw some sand art, I believe, there. Look at the time that went into that and the dedication. I love this. I love the unique contests being held, for some of these projects. But Doug, you've done so many collaborations. So, now we've got Kitbash Boogers, but even beyond that, we've seen some of the Toy Booger traits used in other collections, paying tribute. You paid tribute to other collections within your project. Why is this so important as the NFT space to grow? That artists like yourself, like Klon, like Pablo, like Betty, you just kind of come together and work as teams on different things and, share each other's traits rather than being, rivals and against each other for, the highest floor price ultimately.
Yeah, it's such a cool, unique thing about our space. And people talk about that a lot, the collaborative, cooperative element and the uplifting. And I really feel totally uplifted by the other artists, and so many during our public minted and then tweeted it and then got people interested, and it just so from the start there was this massive support. But yeah, the collaborative element, it's such a neat spirit that just exists in our community, and we're constantly getting requests to do something together. And I wish I could do every one. I can't always do all of them, but I try to get involved in as many as possible. So I'm honored to be able to do it, and it's just fun. And there is that multiplication effect where it's we got. I say this all the time, but in our genre, this fun cartoon area of NFTs, we're like the Saturday morning cartoon kids, and it's we all want to watch the same shows, we want to hang out, do the same stuff, and it's let's mix and match, let's do something together. And so and I do stuff outside of the normal box too, but yeah, the spirit is just so cool. Average Creatures was another one recently. Did you see that one? Average Creatures was really cool. The Karen Jerzyk, she took some of the Boogers heads and actually made them into clay, and then her collection, it's super cool. It's this clay head mixed with a background, it's basically a mixed media generative project, but some of those characters are Toy Boogers heads you'll recognize, and so just stuff like that. It's so fun. I think that's part of it too. It's so fun, it's so friendly, it benefits all of us. We have the same community members are in all of our Discords, and so I think there's some level of it's expected. We love to do it, and it does uplift it rather than compete. I think if we went that model of just competing, we'd be shooting ourselves in the foot. We're making so much better, everything by collaborating. So I'm always excited to do it.
Yeah, and Doug, fun segue here. I actually bought a couple Lobstars yesterday, project that recently minted, and then after I bought them, I saw on your Twitter that you made a one-of-one piece for the project. Right here it is. So now I have my eyes on this one, and I'm hoping that's what I got. Talk to me a little bit about the Lobsters project. Why did you help out on this 101 with them?
Yeah. So and so I have to. They did the hard work. I did the idea. So I was like, let's play with unicorn poop for sure, because the unicorn poop is like kind of this classic one, and several other projects have done this. Wonder Pals, Mina used the unicorn poop from our collection as well. So it's kind of become like this almost like icon of toy buggers. And then so when Lobstars reached out, fantastic artist Philip Colbert, and a good cool idea concept, giving back, as well as just like the metaverse. Like, it's insane, the metaverse that they're building for this project. And then super well known IRL artist with a long track record of doing all sorts of art and being super successful artist. I was totally honored to be able to contribute and collaborate. And so when they reached out, it was like, oh yeah, for sure. And if you scroll through, there's a whole bunch of collab pieces that they've done. But they're like, all right, what are we going to do? Once we decided, like, yeah, let's do something together. And I just immediately was like, unicorn poop? We can make that work. So we went back and forth a few times, but they just nailed it. They just like, here it is. And,
yeah, well, that's the one I'm hoping I get. So if I do end up getting that, I'll let you know, Doug. But again, shout out to whoever gets this awesome 1-of-1 Lobster with the unicorn poop. Doug, you mentioned a little bit ago the Time deal, right? You have a deal with Time Studios to bring an animated show. Any update on where we stand with that show? And then also, is there any way that Kitbash Boogers will find themselves worked into this media deal in the future?
Yeah, cool questions. So shows and NFTs are like totally on two different worlds and tracks of just how they work in time. So we're on a fast track compared to like most traditional, I think, like animations and shows, but still it just, for everybody knows, like we're actively working on it. We're building out, the world, the episodes, the story, the characters, like it's all being developed and worked on, like how it's all fitting together, but it's not too much news to report until we have something to actually show, other than it's like, yeah, we're constantly working on it. So it is being worked on, but until it's ready to like show you something, it's like, yeah, we're keeping it pretty much under wraps. How it will impact with Kitbash Boogers, I'm not sure if there's potential there. That would probably have to be just like logistically and technically some new IP talks and considerations with all the projects and how that would work, because it is now you're talking multi collab, bringing in more partners into something that's already established. But Robotos and Time, Robotos and Cool Cats have both done things with Time. Everybody loves Time. Keith Grossman and the whole team. He's one of my points of contact. But like Maria, everybody there is just so cool. So possibly, I don't want to say no. I don't want to say yes.
Never say never. We'll take that. So I had to ask, Doug. I had a feeling, again, since there are 4 projects involved, there is some logistics there. But the fact that, as you mentioned, some of them have already worked with Time, I thought, hey, I'm going to ask because maybe something could happen. And Doug, every time we talk, I'll probably still ask you about an update on Time, and I know you can't get into it until there's more news to share. But one of these days, we will get that out of you. But speaking of getting stuff out of you, I'm going to turn over to Brian, because I think we're going to drop some alpha here live on Benzinga today.
Alpha time. Spill the tea, man. Just get to it.
Okay,
Don't
cool.
need to preface it.
Well, actually, that's funny. I was just about to like preface it.
No, go ahead, do it. You can preface
it. Let me preface it a bit. So Kitbash Boogers is it really is this epic kind of almost like bonus surprise that really took me almost by surprise. Like, the idea is so epic and so new and so different, but it is so limited. And so it's not the standard thing where, most projects, they have this map, the roadmap, where there's the initial drop, and then there's like either pets or an expansion, and so like everybody benefits directly. So Kitbash Boogers is not that. It's something totally different. It's unique. It's more like an addition to the original Genesis. Toy Boogers, the original, is 3,333 pieces, so very limited supply, very limited number. Only a certain amount of people can be part of the community, about half of what the normal number of other communities. So adding Kitbash Boogers, it's almost like a little bit of a build on to the original Genesis, and not this like expansion or pet kind of thing where it's like, yeah, everybody's going to get this new thing to add to their current collection. And so for people who have won Kitbash Booger spots, like, congrats, it's awesome. Like, this is something, it's unique, and I think people are going to love it, and it adds to the whole Toy Boogers universe. We're treating Kitbash Boogers as a full membership token for Toy Boogers, so it will be just like a Toy Boogers. There'll probably be some slight preferences to the original Toy Boogers in terms of certain things, but in terms of like the tier, they're both like full membership tiers. And so I just want to preface the big alpha that, Kitbash Boogers is its own unique thing. It benefits the whole community because of all the cross-pollination and interest, and subtle kind of addition to our community members. But it's not the piece that would fall in line with your typical roadmap of like a pet drop or like an expansion. And so that is the alpha, is that we are going to do that. So Toy Boogers does have a generative expansion project in the works, and that will be something that all holders benefit from. And so that's the alpha. Each holder, there will be a free one of these, and we're not going to tell what it is or when it is, but each there'll be a free NFT for each Toy Boogers that you hold, or Kitbash Boogers, and then there'll be a little bit more for public as well. And so that will be our first, like, technically kind of like the pet / expansion type of an idea that fits into the regular roadmap that people expect. And that was something that I wanted to do from the start, was expand both the project as well as the community, and then give back to the community. And so Kitbash Boogers, it does give back in multiple different ways, but it's not that thing. But the other thing, the generative project where everybody benefits, that's coming. And so hold your boogers, hold your Kitbash Boogers.
Hold your boogers.
Yes.
Yes.
Boogers, hold them. There's going to be some awesome benefits with that, and just a whole new thing coming soon.
Gotcha. So I think I heard you say you can't tell us when the mint is.
Yeah, so for Kitbash, I can. The generative project that's upcoming is most likely end of summer. Yeah, that's our target, is end of summer. But Kitbash Boogers, rewinding back to Kitbash Boogers, the mint is currently set for the 30th of this month, which is a Saturday. And again, it's all allow listed, so please nobody fall for any, stealth mints. We will never do a stealth mint. And even for our generative project that I mentioned, again, it's going to be well advertised, well mentioned, well controlled. We will never, ever, ever do any sort of stealth mint or anything like that.
We're talking about the one on the 30th right now.
Yeah, well, both of just in general, we'll never do any sort of stealth minting or rushed anything. That just opens up scammers to try to get people to rush into something. So yeah, Kitbash Boogers on the 30th. That's all allow listed, and then the alpha, the Toy Boogers generative project, will be most likely end of summer, and again that will be half, allow list because and claim. So anybody who holds, they'll be able to claim one free one per Toy Booger that they have, or Kitbash Booger, and then there'll be some extras for public mint as well for that.
I got you. So we do a little bit of education on our channel to have like educational content and stuff. Just for people who don't know, what is an allow list? Can you say that? We might even clip it out and see.
Yeah, good.
Explain that.
It's nice to highlight these. So anybody who's new, who's getting in NFTs, some projects when they release, the minting is open, and anybody can just go to the website and press the little, connect with your MetaMask and press mint, and then you get your NFT. For projects that are more established and there's a pretty good demand, or even for new projects that just have there's a lot of hype and a demand, in order to facilitate the minting so it just doesn't turn into a crazy riot, a gas war riot. We allow list people. So if you can win a spot to get a guaranteed or Sometimes they're not guaranteed, but it's like a a smaller pool. But essentially, it's a way to streamline the process and put people in. You have a ticket. You have like a ticket to the show essentially. And so with Kitbash Boogers, it was totally essential to do that because super limited supply and 4 projects with thousands of members and holders wanting in. No way to do Kitbash other than like that. And then also some people have asked you, just as a side note, Kitbash, because they're one of one handmade, even 1,000 is a lot. So even though it is a small collection comparatively, as a one of one collection, handmade collection, it's actually pretty big, but limited. So, yeah, it's kind of a long explanation. I hope that
that was a great explanation. A great question there, Brian, to break down that education.
Because that's very important, and I think a lot of people need to know about this, and hopefully more projects do stuff like that, because like you said, it limits gas wars and makes sure there's not a bunch of bots and scam, but just a great thing.
It is good too. And on that note too, everybody, just be careful if you ever see like a fast stealth mint, like some announcement where it's like all of a sudden we're minting now out of nowhere. That's how scammers scam people, is these mints that come out of nowhere. Sometimes
100,000 followers.
Yeah, there could be just a project that is just minting and they're just announcing it, and you just happen to find it right as they're minting. But if it's a super hot project and all of a sudden there's an announcement or a tweet or something coming out of anywhere that's just like, Bored Apes is minting again, it's like, no, they're not. Like, don't fall for any like stealth type, random mints that just come out of nowhere. And so I think it's a safety thing too. These allow lists definitely channel the safety.
It looks like the chat is excited about all this alpha we got.
Yeah. And you don't get this kind of educational content either. Well, how much is the mint of one of these going to be? How much will it cost, rather? Mint price.
Yeah, so mint price, we haven't exactly set that, so I'm going to hold off on mentioning anything yet. It will be low. All of these projects have
5 ETH.
It'll definitely be an acceptable price. It's going to be low. It's going to be kind of like mid. I want to say it's going to be about half of the current floor or less than that. Probably a little bit less than half of our floor, which is one of the lower floors of the groups. But being a full collaborative project of these projects that have floors in multiple ETH zones, that we could start something really high, but we don't want to do that. We want to start pretty low and just make it almost the price of a regular mint, probably about double the price of a regular mint, and go from there. So it'll be accessible. We'll put that final one because the currency changes so much. So if there's a big spike or a big drop, we'll modify as needed. So most people are holding off.
Gotcha. I mean, it'll be pretty reasonable. But like I'd say most, I mean, you don't have to confirm or deny, but most projects, on this end, you go anywhere from like 0.8 to maybe 0.3. I mean, 0.08 to like 0.3, 0.06 to 0.3, that kind of little range. But
yeah, that's definitely the range that we'll be in. Super hot projects that have a big expansion, they can start off with a full ETH, like even Cool Pets was 0.5, which was actually very, very good of them. And then like the World of Women they had the Dutch auction, but it ended up kind of like pushing it around that 1 ETH mark. So
I think we don't like Dutch auctions here.
Yeah,
I was thinking that's the name of it. I was like, as long as you don't do that, but I forgot the name, so I didn't mention it.
To each their own, but yeah, I haven't loved Dutch auctions as much, but
you have to really watch
combo.
it, and you have to like sit there and like find that sweet spot. And as soon as it starts moving, sometimes even the Dutch auction will turn into a gas war, because as soon as everybody sees it moving, it's like, oh, now it's moving, like jump in or else you're gonna miss it. So.
And it looks like Alyssa's got the Discord pulled up. I'm curious. It looks like the reactions in there have been well to this announcement too. So Doug, just to break down all the details, we've got Kitbash Boogers minting on April 30th with a to be announced mint price. And then everyone who owns a Toy Booger or Kitbash Booger is then getting a free claim around summertime of a new collection. Is that correct here?
Yeah, so that is the big alpha. Toy Boogers is doing a generative project to both give back to our holders as well as expand our user base a little bit. So that standard kind of jump up, and that's going to be really hot. I'm super excited about that. Summertime is end of summer is probably when that will go down.
Awesome. Well, Doug, anything else to add here before we let you go today?
Just a big thank you. It's been so cool to be able to come on again, and I hope now we have one more thing to meet up again with.
For sure, we will have you back on after Kitbash for
once
sure.
We get the generative, once we
Yep.
divulge what it is and the details and all the fun stuff with that, we can chat again. But yeah, just a big thank you to you for having me again. It's always a pleasure. Thanks to my team who's also been joining. They're here, as well as just the community in general and everybody. Just thanks for spending some time with us and hearing what we have to say.
Awesome. And hey, thank you to you too, Doug. I know you're a busy guy. You got lots going on, including making, artwork for these Kitbash boogers. So we appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule, joining us. Also for dropping that alpha, on Benzinga. You could have done that in your Discord. You could have done that on Twitter. But we love getting some of these exclusives on our NFT show. So we appreciate that as well. And Doug, we look forward to having you back on after Kitbash so we can look at some of these traits and play that fun game of pick out your favorite trait and your favorite NFT that we like to do. So looking forward to talking to you soon.
Awesome. I look forward to it as well. Anytime. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man.
Awesome. Well, Doug, have a great rest of the day. Well, what do you guys think? How is everyone in the chat feeling? I mean, we just got some exclusive alpha here on the roadmap. Toy Boogers is a project, that we've loved from the start. We had Doug on before, and I mean, Brian, as soon as I saw this announcement about Kitbash Boogers, I wrote an article on it. We reached out to get them back on, and I mean, 4 great collections. You're taking these amazing traits from 4 projects and combining them. Like, that is so cool, and that's what NFTs should be all about here, right? Is collaborating and working together. And this collection is just, I mean, it's straight fire.
Oh yeah, I'm speechless. Like, I'm so excited for it because it's some of the biggest names in the NFT space and some of the most creative projects and some of the most just intuitive projects, and they're all collabing together and creating something really awesome. And I didn't know about the Kitbash part, and that's really cool. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I was trying to rack my brain to figure out what it was, but I just thought it might just be just a weird, unique thing. But that makes total sense. I used to do that all the time as a kid.
All the toys. I mean, my kids do that today. And I mean, I loved hearing about the hamster too, Stash. I mean, I'm excited. And, out of all the Kitbashes, I still think the hamster trait is my favorite. And we'll find out, and take a look at those after the artwork is revealed. So we're looking forward to having Doug back on after Kitbash mints here. Brian, well, I hate to do this because that was such a fun segment, but we're going to, turn to our news and headlines here. So it's Tuesday. One of the things we like to do is look at the top 10 NFTs by sales volume of the previous week. So I write an article on Benzinga every week about the top 10 NFTs by sales volume using data from CryptoSlam. So last week, Brian, number 1 was Clone X, $50.9 million in sales, up 165%, followed by Mutant Ape Yacht Club, Bored Ape Yacht Club, Azuki, Arcade Land, Akuma, Beans, Shin Sakai, Imposters, and more. So Clone X, Brian, has been in the top 10 for quite a while, but it has been some time since it topped the list. 165% jump. What do you think of Clone X here getting a lot of love this past week?
Yeah, they're definitely bumping up, huh? I think they're. I don't know if they had any specific news, but I know that a lot of these collab projects with different bigger name companies are kind of rolling out now because people are kind of getting into it and jumping in. And it seems that the NFT volume didn't really fall as much as the stock volume in crypto markets. So that could be. Do you know if they had major news?
So they've done a bunch of airdrops, and I feel like they had another announcement. Again, CloneX, not a project I'm in, so I don't follow this one as closely, but the fact that it was up that much, I think definitely had some news. Some of the surprises for me, I mean, Azuki dropped to 4th place. They were number 1 for the past 2 weeks, Brian. But we did see a couple other of these like anime projects. Akuma was one of them that was on the top 10 here. What do you think? The fact that all these anime-based projects are kind of popping up, is that going to take a little bit of Azuki's momentum here? Or is there room for a bunch of these and Azuki's just going to be, you know, number 1 for a while?
I think with anything in the NFT space and crypto space in particular, there's a bunch of room for lots of things. The top 10, you know, you only have 10 spots. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it just, you have to look at their communities and see what's going on and why. I don't know if it's specific to these anime style, or if it's just that kind of like, maybe they're all doing something like really, really cool. I don't know. I think Azuki's going to stay up there though. They're just the solid. They have a great community and I like their art a lot, but it's not really my style, but that's pretty much my favorite one out of most ones I've seen. So I don't really know why, like we're seeing all these pop up.
Yeah, and Brian, outside of the top 10 list, the other big jumps that I saw was Doodles, 12th place, up 51%. Adidas Originals was 16th place, up 382%. And then one that we talked about last week, Pudgy Penguins, who recently announced new owners, came in 23rd place, up 107%. I actually was a little surprised that Pudgy Penguins didn't jump more positions, but that's still a triple-digit sales volume increase week over week. So I think that the community is reacting positively to the new ownership there.
I'd have to agree.
All right, well, let's turn to our next topic. This is a fun one, Brian. I'm a fan of sports, right? I love sports, all the major sports, some of the other sports, but one of the cool things I like to see is NFTs and sports combined, right? And we have some different projects that have, you know, done traits or, you know, tied sports in. But another way that they kind of collab here is when athletes who own NFTs put their NFT image on their shoes, right? So last week we saw NBA player LaMelo Ball put his Gutter Cat Gang on his NBA shoes. So there they are, Brian. Look at those Gutter Cat Gang on the NBA court. What do you think of these sneakers there? Gutter Mellow.
I mean, what can you say besides those are the dopest things I've ever seen?
All right. Well, I'm glad that you said that those are the dopest thing you've ever seen, because we're going to play a fun contest here and we're going to let the chat vote too. There is LaMelo's shoes. We also had last year, there is Tyrese Halliburton, an NBA player with a Bored Ape on his NBA shoes. So that's number 2. And then we also have number 3 here, a NFL safety put a Bored Ape on his shoes. So you're saying number 3, Brian? The NFL?
It's classic. It's subtle. I like those. Number 2.
I mean, so Brian votes number 3. I think I like number 2 here, the Tyrese Halliburton, the pink fur.
Okay, I'm changing my vote.
I feel like really goes well together here. You're changing to 2?
Yeah, I'm going to. Yep.
All right, guys in the chat, let us know 1, 2, or 3. Is it Gutter Cat Gang, Bored Ape NBA number 2, or NFL number 3? Alyssa, you don't have to hop on if you don't want. You can just type it otherwise. What's your vote here? 1, 2, or 3?
1.
1? Going with the Gutter Cat.
1.
Okay.
It looks good. It looks slick. Like, look
I do love
this.
the colors there. I think they did a great job.
Yes, and it says 1 of 1. Ooh.
1 of 1. All right, I see a couple 2 votes in the chat. I see a 1 vote. Looks like no love for number 3 yet, but we'll let those votes come in. But this is just cool to see, Brian. I like that these, you know, athletes and celebrities are kind of tying in their NFT. We saw, you know, Odell Beckham Jr. before the Super Bowl, you know, had his CryptoPunk on his warm-up shirt. Like, I love seeing these NFTs there. We got a couple more number 1s. I think this is pretty split between 1 and 2. We got Ashira saying Gutter Cat Gang. This is fun. We're going to have to do this again, and I'm looking forward to seeing more athletes. Remember, I did say that there's that big announcement out there that Tom Brady may have bought a Bored Ape And I would love to see Tom Brady wear a Bored Ape on his shoes. I think that would be a huge deal for NFTs. So Tom Brady, if you're listening, I know he watches this show regularly, right, Brian? So Tom Brady, make sure to put that Bored Ape on your sneakers. All right, well, let's turn to next. We got a couple minutes left here, Brian. I don't know if we're going to get through all of these. Another April project we talked about as one of our top ones was Moonbirds. So Moonbirds, 2.5 ETH is their mint price. And even at 2.5 ETH, they were worried about seeing a huge gas war and bots and all kinds of stuff, right? Because this is from the team that did Proof, which has a huge floor price. So they actually backtracked, and what they decided to do was a pre-mint raffle. So you could go to this website and you could verify your account. So you had to follow them on Twitter, verify your Discord, and then you also had to have 2.5 ETH in your wallet. If you met all those qualifications, which that is a lot, so you had to, verify that, hey, I have enough to mint this. You could go and enter this raffle, and it is now closed. The winners will be announced on the 15th. But Brian, this goes back to the conversation we just had with Doug. Like, I am a huge fan of these projects that make it harder for bots to happen, make it harder for gas wars to happen, right? Make it to where your community members, the people that have followed you, they have, better access to the project. So I actually like that Moonbirds did this. Obviously, the 2.5 ETH price is going to keep some people from getting it, but I think the fact that they're doing a raffle is the right move here. Brian, your thoughts on this?
I think you pretty much summed it up. I think any way you can do it to kind of protect your future holders or users or what have you, I think that's the way to do it. Having the 2.5 ETH in your wallet in order to actually get through, that's interesting. That's something new. I don't I don't know if there's gonna be a whole lot of that happening, because that's quite a hefty amount. A hefty amount to have in your wallet, just to be chilling. You know what I mean? I mean, there's people who have it, but that might price a lot of people out. But that's really interesting. That's really cool. And that, it makes it a little bit more exclusive, rarer, and, a higher end, higher tier.
Yeah. And I go back to when Mechaverse happened, Brian, and they did a raffle. That was 0.5 to mint. And I think it said that you needed to have 0.5 ETH in your wallet, but I don't think they verified it. So it is interesting that this one, it actually said you have to have 2.5 ETH, and it told some people, hey, you don't have enough, you can't enter this raffle. So that is an interesting way. All right, well, before we go, one last topic here, and we're probably going to have to chat about it more on Thursday, Brian. Coinbase. We talk a lot about Win Coinbase, right? And that refers to the very anticipated Coinbase NFT marketplace. Well, Coinbase yesterday put out this tweet, and they shared this picture originally, and they tagged Coinbase, Coinbase NFT, Coinbase Wallet, Bored Ape Yacht Club, and ApeCoin. So I saw that, and I wrote an article, and my initial reaction was, Brian, yes, Coinbase NFT marketplace is finally happening. They're partnering with Bored Ape Yacht Club. ApeCoin's going to be involved, so maybe the land sale is happening with Coinbase being partnered, right? Wrong.
Ooh.
The Coinbase announcement was that they are making a trilogy of short films, and the first movie they're making is with Bored Ape. So Bored Ape put out a tweet that said, we're stoked that Coinbase is making a film series featuring the Bored Ape Yacht Club community. Bored Ape NFT holders, submit your ape for casting. Details below. Mutants, don't worry. This is the first film in a trilogy, and you'll be getting your own casting call for part 2. I don't own a Bored Ape, so I, of course, couldn't go submit my ape. But the thing I've heard, Brian, is that Coinbase is paying a $10,000 licensing fee to anyone who owns a Bored Ape to be able to use their ape in this movie. I don't think it's completely exclusive, but it might prevent you from using your ape in other movies or shows in the future. So with that being said, Brian, if you own an ape, 10,000 from Coinbase or use your ape somewhere else? What would you choose here?
I mean, I personally don't. I don't know how many options I have to like license my ape, but I don't own an ape, so I don't know. I mean, $10,000. It depends. Like, I don't know, man. That doesn't seem like a whole lot compared to
Yeah.
what has potential to be made. But like, how many apes are going to be in it? You know, like, are they planning on paying $10,000 to every holder? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends. And if it's only like 6 of them and they're only getting $10,000, you're only using 6 apes. I'd be like, no way. That's I don't need $10,000. I have a bored ape.
Yeah, and I think that's me too, is like, what if you're the only one who signs up for this? Like, what happens then? Do they just make a movie with one ape?
Yeah,
Or,
it's almost like,
oh, there we go. We got someone buying a booger in the chat, of course,
there
from
you
that
go.
alpha that was dropped on the show.
Oh boy.
Shout out to you. Great pickup there. Again, not financial advice, but we do love the boogers here. Brian, they said that this movie, the first film, is going to debut at NFT NYC in June. 2 other movies will debut later this year. My question here for you, and this is a tough one, does this mean that now Coinbase NFT marketplace is getting pushed back even further? Or do you think that these 2 things can coincide together? Yeah, look at Greg's tweet here. This is perfect. This is exactly how I felt yesterday. We want Coinbase NFT marketplace. Coinbase, we making a movie.
Haha. LOL. Yeah, I mean, I would think that they could do it together because those are 2 separate departments. You would think like the developers can work on that while Coinbase hires a multimedia team to do the movie. But well, whatever. I don't know. I think I'm actually, the more I think about it, I'm kind of a little bit annoyed that they only offer $10,000 for your ape, because who knows how many they're going to be. Trilogy. I don't think this is going to be a $1 billion movie or multi-million dollar movie.
Hold on. Imagine being offered $10,000 for like your golden ape to star.
Yeah, see, that's great. Franklin was not a fan of this. Let's just say that.
If you can't like use it anywhere else, technically you don't own it. Because like,
yeah,
what if
see, I would want to see how the contract's worded. We're gonna have to do some digging, because if this prevents you from licensing out your ape for other stuff, like I think it really, I mean, 10,000 sounds like a lot of money, but comparatively, it's really not here. So
no, it's not. I mean, that's 3 months of us. That's not a lot. $300,000 for 300. I just looked at the floor price. They're at like almost $350,000 or so. Like that's a lot. But 10,000, nah, not even worth it. Chump change if you're talking about bored apes.
Right. All right. Well, I think that's gonna do it. We went a little over here, but Brian, I mean, what a fun show this was. We got to talk to Doug from Toy Boogers. We got that alpha dropped. We've got Kitbash Boogers minting on April 30th. Everyone, make sure you have that date written on your calendar. And we'll let you know if it changes for any reason. And I mean, we got so much more to talk about. No roadmap tomorrow. Benzinga is hosting a boot camp where you can learn how to become a better stock and options trader. So definitely tune in for that. But we will be back on Thursday. And I believe we're having the team of another April project to watch join us. Many of you know it and like to howl in the chat about Star Wolves. So make sure you tune in Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern time. We will catch everyone then. Take care, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.